is just an incredible comeback, and especially when you think of the 99-yard scoring drive, the fourth down pass from the 30-yard line, a desperation play. Ben Brimhall made the play to get out of trouble, had to actually leap over a defender, and as he came down, he saw Tim Erickson, who had gotten past the receiver, or past the defender, rather, and Ben put the ball right there where only Tim could catch it, and Tim did catch it, and you should have seen the crowd across the way just stunned and shocked and just standing. The whole Albany bench was real active all night and clapping and cheering, and boy, it was silent on that far sideline as the Otters celebrated the go-ahead and winning touchdown with only 35 seconds left in the game. Tremendous win.
Yeah, that's got to be. And for the first one of the year, like we've talked about, how important is that for a football team? It gives you so much momentum heading into the next game, which is maybe even a bigger game yet. They've got the Moorhead Spud. Now, is that in Fergus Falls here?
That is here. It's a home game at 7 o'clock next Friday, and Spud's got beat last night.
But, I mean, that sets the tone for the entire season now, because Fergus Falls has got the win. They can move on. They've got some confidence, I think. And I tell you what, if they would have lost that game again, they take a step back and have to recover against the real tough team Moorhead. Now, I think they've got some confidence. This is going to be a great season, I think, for Fergus Falls. I was saying last night, 8-0, baby. 8-0. But, you know, that's just, I guess, a hometown fan. But I love to see comebacks like that. And you said it before the season that these two teams, or this team, I should say, Hillcrest, or Fergus Falls, is going to be a very exciting one. And obviously a very potent passing attack last night.
Well, the thing that the passing attack does for you is it lets you get back in the game quickly. You know, the Otters are capable with either Erickson or Arneson or Titus Christensen at unloading the bomb, the home run ball, at any time in the game. And the same with their speed on their kick and punt returns. They have the big play offense that will keep them in every ball game. And last night, Sweds, I had Albany with 79 snaps and the Otters with 47. That's a pretty big difference in time of possession and how many offensive plays the teams run. But when you can strike the way the Otters can strike, you don't have to grind it out for 12 to 15 plays to score. And I think we're going to see a lot of quick scoring drives from the Otters this year.
We hope to welcome Coach Lincoln a bit later on this morning.
How many heartbreaks. You guys were there.
Yeah.
Watching those games. We lost, 5 of them that could have went either way in the same situations, and we mounted the same type of comebacks. And to finish it this year was just a big plus to start off the year with that kind of comeback. So, yeah, I take my hat off to the kids, and they never quit. And, you know, we went 98 yards in the last 2 minutes, and I think that should be enough said in how hard they play.
I gave you 99. My eyes are bad. I guess it was the
It could have been. I don't know where we started. All they know is Ben started from the end zone with the run.
Exactly. That was a key play, and Roger and I talked about that on the wrap-up last night. First down, I think he rolled right and threw an incomplete pass, and then he ran out of the end zone around with the ball and picked up 35 yards, where he really got you into a situation where you could do some things.
Yeah, and, you know, first of all, I want to single out that I know we were down 19-0, but I thought our defense played an outstanding football game. That team's very, very talented, power-running team. We have a lot of inexperience on defense and on offense. But every time it looked like they were going to break us, we came and made a big play. That fourth down play to stop them so we could come back was unbelievable. I told them in the huddle, if we stop them there, we'll drive at 98 yards. I know we can get it in there. We pulled Ben over to the side, and I said, Ben, I said, when you go here, if you don't see your receivers, take off with it. Get us out of here. You know, he made a, 50-40-yard run, and that opened us up and gave us some more field to work with. And then he just, you know, was like a technician at the end. Went to Timmy twice on out of bounds. Arneson was drawing a lot of defenders, and so was Titus. And it opened up Timmy a little bit on short routes, and they were playing us real soft. Just unbelievable. I mean, then the finishing play was heroics out of Ben.
That was incredible. I don't know how he got out of the pressure situation he was in. There were defenders all around him. He had to actually physically leap over one of the defensive linemen and then position himself where he could get something on the ball. And obviously, and I don't know how Tim was reacting down there during that, but I'm assuming he stopped the route at one point and then maybe the defender relaxed and Tim was able to burst by him.
Well, we figured we had, around 42 seconds or something, which was plenty of time from the 20-yard line. even without timeouts, we felt we had plenty of time. So we were in that fourth down situation. I told Tim, let's do a hitch and go. Tim thought he could beat him on a hitch and go because Arnie was drawing a lot of coverage in the deep middle. And Tim hitched real nice. The kid bit. And looked like Ben was going to get sacked as he went into his route. And I think their safety came up a little bit because when he saw Ben regain his balance, I think he thought Ben was going to run. And just that two-step, Tim beat him by it. And Ben threw a perfect ball into the end zone. And Tim kept his feet in and made a great catch. And, you know, last year, you look at the same catch, Tim dropped that one against Bemidji. And you could see his focus on the film. I watched it when I got home. His head and his eyes stayed with the ball all the way to his hand. Only way he could have caught it because it was perfectly thrown. It had to be a perfect catch.
The one thing Tim Erickson has, and Roger, I think, did a good job talking about it last night, he has that ability, that built-in ability that some receivers or some athletes have to be able to improvise out there and is an intelligent player. When he sees his quarterback scrambling, okay, forget the pattern. Where can I get where I'm going to be of help to Ben right now? And he does that so well.
Yeah, we teach them in practice sessions, you know, Titus and Arnie and Tim to adjust their routes according to the defense. And Ben makes great adjustments himself. You know, most quarterbacks just throw right to the route. Our kids may need to adjust that route because they're usually double covered. Tim was double covered most of the night, and he adjusts his route, and Ben knows that, and Ben's patient, so he stays in the pocket. I thought the play of Ben Brimhoff, the first half and the second half, was like somebody going from kindergarten to high school, because I felt in the first half Ben had too much adrenaline going. His arm was real strong, overthrowing receivers, and was very nervous in there, which very well should be. In the second half, he played very poised and took great leadership, and I was just so pleased with his play. And, you know, I'll single out many kids in this game, but the way he quarterbacked that team for 98 yards was really impressive.
And Phil, you know, you did not run the football a lot last night. Of course, when you do get down 19-0 too, you do have to keep it in the air. But when you did run the football, you had some very good performances there. Brian Larrabee broke a beautiful touchdown run. Chad Hoppen and ran hard, got into the end zone on a tough play down close to their goal line with a great effort there, and from your line too. But you do have some people who I think will be productive running the football for you.
Well, I don't think there's any question. Our biggest asset is our passing and our throwing. And if we get teams such as Albny, who's a physical team, to sit back a little bit more and start covering our receivers, it's going to open up our run game. We have a very inexperienced line. And we graduated every starter on the front line. So we felt that if passing is going to be our best, we're going to teach a lot of pass blocking to start with and work hard on that so that we can move the ball. That definitely will open up our run game, and it did. You're right. You know, people think we threw a lot last night, but we were half and half. I think it was 25 and 24. And the running we did was very, I think we had 100 and some yards on the ground on 20-some carries. It's almost 5 yards a carry. I'm very pleased with that. David Carr ran some real hard runs up the middle to keep their linebackers tight so they would honor him and wishbone, and it opened up Hoppen and Larrabee. I was very pleased with that. The other thing they did extremely well, they pass blocked. I thought the backs did a great job picking up their ends, who were coming very hard.
You know, one thing we didn't see last night from the passing game was the involvement of the tight ends in the patterns. I would think with your receivers, the split receivers that you have and the attention they're going to draw down the road as the season goes on, maybe as quickly as the next couple of weeks, you're going to be able to hurt some teams with some passes underneath that coverage.
Yeah, you know, the two we threw to the tight ends, if you remember, were wide open. And Ben was right on with one, and then one of our receivers dropped it. You know, it's early in the season yet. But I don't know if they're quite ready to get into routes for us right now, especially this early, because we're trying to teach the line, which is so young, to give us more protection. And anytime you lose your tight end to block, you're going to lose a lot of protection. And they put you on the outside, Ben's going to be under a lot of pressure, and we don't want that to happen right now. So we'll gradually work our tight ends into it, but it's pretty hard to cover those three kids when they're out there at once. So right now we're kind of keeping it double tight, so Ben can get more of a pocket to work out of. And, you know, I want to single out Oregon at a tackle. Charlie Schillenhart never played high school football. He started both ways at end, did an outstanding job. Kenny Kildee at an end, did an outstanding job. Matt Goldaddy, Caleb Rudnick at center, did outstanding. Ross Johnson, I think, had as good a game as a lineman could have. probably was unnoticed because of all the heroics by everybody else. Did an outstanding job, and we rotated guards. Dennis Anderson's never played high school football in his life. Never played, and he used to play that guard for J.J. Johnson. I was pleased with all of them.
You know, Craig and I were talking earlier about momentum and how important first win is, but especially for this team and how young they are. What does this do for their confidence? It's got to boost it sky high.
Well, yeah, there's a ton of things we've got to work on, but you're definitely right. Moorhead's coming in here next week, and our kids feel real good coming into this game, obviously. Anytime you can go to Albany, where I think they've only lost 4 games in 4 years, and win in front of that type of crowd, which was a pretty vicious crowd out there.
They're kind of silent, though, at the end there, Phil.
Yeah, we got them silent pretty good. They were running pretty good when they were ahead, though. And to go into Albany and win, I just think for a team, like you said, that's that young, can only reap benefits with their confidence.
Well, the other part of the game last night that impressed me was how your guys, at the end of that game, which was a very punishing game, especially for your defense, they had 79 snaps by my count. I don't know what Mr. Schuler had.
Right.
But the running back, Chad Booth, had over 200 yards rushing. They had over 300 yards on the ground. And it was a tough day for the defense just because of the amount of time they spent on the field. But in the last few minutes of the game, you were still in condition. You were still getting good hits. In fact, some very good hits in the last few minutes. And that really impressed me and said something about the shape these kids are in.
Well, not only the shape, but the willingness to one up and keep up hitting. You know, playing this game, a lot of us have played it for a long time, and to continue to hit for 4 quarters at a punishing team shows a lot of courage out of our kids. David Carr's played extremely well hitting people. But Brandon Oslin on the outside, he's not a very big kid, came up and hit all night. Chad Albany, I thought, turned it on better than everybody at the end, making big hits. And Caleb Rudnick on the inside. Cannon Kildee had a great game. Ross Johnson on the inside. We had a sophomore, the Anderson kid, John Anderson at nose tackle, played the whole game, did a super job. Then you had Charlie on the outside, mixing in there with Ryan Hendrickson, came in a few times, and Brian Larrabee. And they did a great job. Our ends need a little work, and we need a little work here and there, but their game is off tackle. I felt we shut the off tackle down. Where they hurt us was on that split position.
Right.
And we can make adjustments there. But the kids came up so many times, Craig, on 4th and short and stopped them. I don't think they ever converted a first down on 4th down. And that means your defense is stepping up when it needs to. And as young as they are and to step up, I was extremely pleased.
You really covered the option well, too. They tried to run that a few times, and after the 3rd time and no positive results at all, they kind of forgot about that for the night.
Yeah, I singled it out to our coaches. I felt we really covered the option. We caused 3 fumbles last night, recovered 2, got 1 on a punt, we got a fumble 2. So we got, we 4 fumbles. I don't believe we had a fumble, and I don't think we had a holding call all night either. For an inexperienced line to go through a whole game and pass 25 times and not get a holding call. That's why I want to speak so highly of what the linemen did, that we had great individual effort. I want to mention Drax. Luke came out and kicked the ball and put us in great position off kickoff. Comes through on the extra point. And then, of course, the biggest kick of his life. This is his early life here. kicking it into the end zone there, so they have to drive 80 yards. And when you ask a running team to pass 80 yards, we felt pretty good.
You could see, that can deflate a team so fast. Not only did you score, but now you're not even giving them a chance to touch the ball here. Take it on the 20, guys, and what a weapon that is.
Yeah, it was a great weapon, and then when Cannon comes up with the interception, it feels that I was teasing the kids. Yeah, they all reminded me after the game. They said, "Oh, there's your vision, Coach." I had a vision on Thursday night. I told them that to be an outside linebacker or corner would make an interception to close out the game.
Oh, boy.
And Cannon got that.
Did you write that down,
I
by the way?
won't tell him any visions, bad visions I ever had.
Okay. Well, that was just a tremendous win for the Otters last night at Albany at 20-19. And now the Spuds, and I was watching at the end of the game. You guys were all gathered around, and you were talking with the kids, and you broke that huddle, and boy, I heard Moorhead very loudly come out of every one of those kids' voices. So they're ready for Moorhead. They want to play him.
Right. You know, we're really ecstatic about this win. You know, we know it's only the first game. There's a lot of games ahead of us, but as you mentioned about building confidence and building courage, you know, to play this game with the schedule we have, it only, you could tell by their voices that they're happy and they're excited and they're ready to play. And we're gonna, you know, enjoy this for another day. And sad thing is about, you know, wins. They go real fast. Loss stays a long time. You remember. So you got to forget about this pretty quick and prepare for another very good team coming in. And we'll come in Monday and start work again, get ready for Moorhead. And sure, it'll be a huge crowd there and be a lot of excitement in the air. And it's just going to be a great, you know, night of football, high school football.
Well, Fargo North beat Moorhead 14-6 last night, so Moorhead's got, you know, some work to do there. And again, they're going to come in on a downside. That's got to work to your advantage a little bit too, I think, as they're, you know, early on in their season and they come in with a loss. And if they're going to have a successful season, they almost have to think that this win is almost a must-win. It's crunch time for them already.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to come in down, but after a loss, I hate playing teams that come off a loss. That's when they tend to gear up even more. Usually the teams that come in after blowouts is the ones you have an easy time with. But it should be, I'm sure it's a must-win for them. We don't look at any of these games being must-wins for us with our inexperience. We look at getting better so when the playoff comes, that then we can say, you know, we can compete with anybody. And I think the way we played last year proved that when it came down to the end, we could play as good as anybody. And that's the same vision we have this year, is to be better at the end. And obviously this is a good way to get started.
You had, there were just a couple of instances last night where you weren't focused or in the game, and that happens early in the year. A couple of your penalties, I think you had 4 penalties, but 2 of them were probably just not being focused or not thinking at that time. And I felt bad for Tim on the extra point setup because he's snapping now for you this year.
Drink.
He's out there every play, and you know this is the first time he's in a situation on a snapping for an extra point, and you forgot about it. And I thought Darwin Bachman was pretty gracious there, gave you quite a bit of time, but then
he did the best
he did.
Trust me, we don't get that all the time.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, Tim was just, you know, he made that score that we just scored, and he come running off. He was tired and went to get a drink. You know, he's not used to snapping, and as you saw, he snapped beautiful all night. And we're looking for the center, and he gets out there, and then as he gets out there, we got Arnie and David Carse lined up on the same side, so nobody's on the right side, and they could have walked in and just blocked it, so we take a penalty. But we felt pretty comfortable with Draxton only moving back 5 more yards.
Yeah, I thought
they were
going to
call
better
time
chance.
on it. No. We're okay. Let them back up 5. That's just part of the game. You get fatigue, number 1, and you got a game as exciting as this for your opener. It's going to mentally drain a lot of people. I'm sure the kids are, I don't think any kids are up, I'm sure. But I'm sure they're mentally and physically drained, and we feel that's how you need to come off every game you play. I mean, if you want to play the game to its utmost, that's how you got to come off the field every time.
And then what Saturday's for? Sleep?
I doubt it. Not for radio guys.
No,
we're for coaches.
Yeah, but we don't play football.
That's true.
See,
sometimes I feel like I played football, but
I felt like it did.
Yeah, I'll bet you did. 1987, Sweat. Albany was the site. Jason Brunko booted a field goal to win it at the end of a regulation, and we've had some exciting games down on that field. So
yeah, I was on the staff that year, and Stu had me and Wally out in nowhere's land scouting somewhere that night. Because I remember we got home real late, and they weren't home yet. They were only in Albany.
Yeah.
So we knew something must have been up, that they weren't doing the radio from wherever we were at for the game. So we came in, and they met us there, and that was an exciting win. Yeah, there's been hundreds of them, I'm sure, in the history of this school. We've had some last year, but I'm sure there's going to continue to be much more. Hopefully not every game like that.
Well, why not, Phil? Come on. It was fun.
Not just for your sake, but for fans' sake and Craig's sake as well. We can't afford to have him get knocked out.
I try to keep it calm and cool and collected. Roger, he's the one who gets excited up there.
Well, it had to be pretty exciting.
It was exciting, yeah. It was a great finish. Great win. 20-19, the Otters beating Albany. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
And hopefully no injuries. I didn't see anybody come off hurting. But
no, I was going to ask you guys before I left, so who won that final Jets-Minnesota game last night? I got back late.
It was a preseason game? Is that what it was? Preseason, yeah.
And who's
the only reason I'm doing this now, you guys, because I got to hear this all year.
Who's the coach of the Bears?
I have no idea.
No, see, okay, I do. I'd get you on that one.
Never heard of
Dick Duran.
And I know, but I've never heard of
Thanks, Maker.
And aren't you from Illinois, Schaumburg, around there?
Kankakee area.
Okay, I was going to say, who won? Red Hawks beat who last night?
They beat Schaumburg.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
That's the XGM from the Red Hawks.
That's right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Coach.
You bet.
All right, let's take a... Just going to say that I couldn't help thinking on the way back, given the events of yesterday for Hillcrest and Fergus Falls, about John Kildee and Tim Erickson, who have played sports together since they were knee-high to a grasshopper, as the old saying goes. I remember John Sr. and Tim's father, Dave, coaching those two boys in Dwarf League Baseball and Pony League Baseball, playing on the same basketball teams, and just a real close friends. And I think everybody kind of wondered, well, we knew John Kildee was going to go to Hillcrest Lutheran Academy, and there's no question there. But I think people always wondered, where's Tim Erickson going to go? You know, is he going to go to Hillcrest or Fergus Falls? And didn't he have a brother that went to Hillcrest?
Older brother Matt.
Yeah, and it's just interesting to see the directions they have gone and how they're both contributing where they are at right now, and certainly leaders on their team. And I think that's a couple of great young men, and fun to see them having some success already.
And what's even more, I think, special about that, they're very close friends, and their families support each other so well. The Ericksons are at our games.
Yeah.
And when Kildees take off and they go to the Fergus games, and they're standing there cheering, it's feel like they've adopted both of them as their own sons.
Right.
They're real close.
Great, love to hear that. Yeah, and it was fun to see them come through yesterday like they did with big plays.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy it today, but get back at it next week, and we'll see you on Friday.
Can't enjoy it too long, but we'll absorb all we can.
That's counting today, right?
Yeah, we've got to go down to Herman.
That's for John, by the way.
Okay,
all right. Coach Richard Risborough of the Hillcrest Lutheran Academy Comic Football Team. We'll take another break, come back, we'll wrap up some of the scores from the night of football across Minnesota. That's up in a couple of minutes.